Welcome again, students. Now we have the bookwork of the poem. So, first of all, we have new words. New words, they are not actually new, but some of them may be words which you have not heard before. So, running is the first one. Here, running can have different meanings, but here in the poem, we have the meaning of running as flowing because it is running stream we are reading in the poem. So, here it means flowing stream. Strange, again, strange can have different meanings, but here in the poem, we know it as foreign, some foreign land. Load to fill. Load can be noun, but here it is used as a verb to fill. Blooms are flowers. Dawn is early morning. The crack of the sunlight when it's early morning, when there is not when the sun is just rising. Launch to set in motion. Bulging, swollen. Playmate is a friend. Bury. Bury again can have different meanings like bury in the ground, but here the child is burying his head in his arms. So here it is hide. And lading is cargo of the boat or just putting cargo in the boat. It can be used as noun as well as verb. It can be the cargo, the luggage or the baggage of the boat, or it can be the action of loading cargo in the boat. So these were the words which may be new for you, or they can be maybe strange for you. So again we can say difficult for you to understand, though they are not difficult at all. They are very simple words. Bulging may be new for you, or dawn, or load, or lading. Now you know the meaning. Now they are no more new words for you. Now, second is the comprehension. What did we understand by the poem? Let's see if we have understood the poem well. Where does the choose the correct options to answer the following questions? Where does the poet float his paper boats? Where does he float them? Does he float them in the stream, in the river, in the ocean, in the sea? Of course, we know that he floats them in the stream. What does the poet write on his paper boats? What does he write there? He writes his name and the name of his village. So C is the correct one. Here A is the correct one in the first one, and in the second C is the correct one. His own and his village's name. What is Shuli? An animal, a type of a flower, a village, or a bird? It is a flower. What does the poet see in the sky? Stars, little clouds, the sun, the rainbow. When he sets that boat in the stream, he looks up and what does he see? He sees the little clouds setting their sails. Now, next part is answer the following questions. How does the poet write his name on the paper boats? How does he write them? He writes them in big, bold, black letters so that they can be easily identified, so that they can be easily read by the person who finds that boat. What does the poet hope about the blooms of the dawn? Since they are the blooms of the dawn, he hopes that those blooms of the dawn will be carried to the land in safely to the land in the night, that they will remain as fresh as they were in the morning. What does the poet dream at night? What does he dream at night? He dreams, let's see in the poem, when the night comes and he buries his face in his arms, he dreams that his paper boats float on and on under the midnight stars, that his boat keeps on floating, keeps on going on and on, that he dreams that his boat doesn't stop anywhere or doesn't get damaged anywhere, because he's very hopeful of that. He has got positive thoughts. So he dreams that his boats float on and on to some strange land, far away land. And who are sailing in the paper boats at night? There are fairies of sleep who are sailing in the paper boats at night. And what are they carrying? They are carrying dreams, beautiful dreams for the people and the children. So, this was all about questions and answers. Now, literary appreciation. Have you ever heard the tongue twister? She sells seashells in the seashore. Yes, by the seashore, sorry. So, we have heard so many of them. Tongue twisters. Notice how the same sound of S is repeated at the beginning of the series. See what they want to tell us. You just have to notice what how this tongue twister starts with. This is why it's a tongue twister, because we can't pronounce those words correctly, because it is too confusing for us. She sells seashells. See how confusing it is when we say these fast, so we can't pronounce them correctly. So, what they are trying to tell us, see how all these words are, most of these words are beginning with the letter S. Somewhere it is S or somewhere it is sh. It's repeated at the beginning of the series. Words in the sentence. Find some more such phrases from the poem. Now we have to see some words. We have to go to the poem again and see how the poet has used techniques like these. See, these are called literary devices or literary techniques, because when a poem has to be attractive to the reader, it should not be boring, otherwise nobody will read poems. So what does the poet do? He uses some techniques called literary devices, which are quite different from the prose we are reading. So he uses some techniques or literary devices just to make his poem interesting and attractive to the reader. So we have to find where the poet has done or what kind of technique or literary device he has used in this. So we got to know about the tongue twister. She sells seashells in the seashore. So that tongue twister is, there are words beginning with the same letter. Now we can find some more words where the poet has used such technique here. See, day by day. Again, there are two words, same words, but then he has used them like this, one by one. Okay. Now in the third line, in big black letters. See, big, black, these two words, they are beginning with the same letter. So this can be also an example of this. Now what is it called? What literary device it is? It is called alliteration. Remember this. I'll write it in your class also. I'll give you the spellings. It is alliteration. So this kind of technique is called alliteration, where two words or two or three or more words which are consecutive to each other, they are beginning with the same letter. Like these two words, they are close to each other. Of course, here you see day by day, it is separated by this word by, but this can also be an example of alliteration, or words beginning with same letters are close together. So these are techniques called alliteration. Here the poet has used what literary device? He has used alliteration. Let's find some more examples of this. In big black letters, I write my name and the name of the village. I hope that someone in some strange land. S and S. Again, this is an example of alliteration. Land will find them and know who I am. I load my little boats, load my little. Again, with surely flowers from our garden. Flower and from, though it is not the appropriate, but then it can be. And hope that these blooms of the dawn will be carried safely to land in the night. I launch my paper boats and look up into the sky and see the little clouds setting the wide bulging sails. Here we have examples, but they are not so to close together that we can call them alliteration. No, it is not like that. I know not what playmate of mine in the sky sends them down the air to race with my boats. When night comes, I bury my face in my arms and dream that my paper boats float on and on. Here it can be an example. Under the midnight stars, the fairies of sleep are sailing in them, and the lading in their baskets full of dreams. So those were the examples of alliteration, a literary device or literary technique used by the poet to make the poem interesting and attractive for us. Now this is listening exercise. Be creative. Writing exercise. Write a notice. We can do this with the grammar or when we have to do revision of writing skills. Talk time. Divide the class into pairs. Again, it's not possible with our online class teaching. So this was all. Though this listening exercise we can do sometimes, we'll think about it doing it, because it's a very good uh, way of learning English. It is not only that you have to understand it, we have to check your listening power also, how well you listen to the teacher and how well you comprehend the topics when we are doing it. So we'll find some way of doing this listening exercise. If there are four main things related to English language: reading, whether you can read properly; writing, about your writing skills; then your listening skills, they are also very important: reading, writing, listening, and speaking skills is the fourth one. Though I tried to know about your speaking skills in the last class, but only 20 of you could send that, and rest of you were just vanished. So this was all for today. Thank you, children. Hope you have understood it, and I'll be sending you the written work of this chapter, the answers for these four questions. Rest you can do on the book, and this also can be done, this alliteration or appreciation of the poem, where you learnt about one of the literary devices. So that was all. Thank you so much.